Tackling water crisis through reverse osmosis. Hi, my name is Billy.
I'm Sabeem Sultan.
I'm Dinesh Wattage.
I'm Aurebek Mukhtarov.
And I'm Abdurrahman Tamimi.
Our world is majorly surrounded by 71% bodies of water. While some may take water usage for granted, most still don't even have access to clean water. It's mainly because countries don't have the infrastructures or money to process these human needs. What is access to clean water and sanitation? Access to clean water and sanitation includes having clean water and washing our hands, using the toilet, and mainly drinkable water. Overall, the majority of these resources are dependent on money. Money is gained from selling resources, but in an environment where there are limited resources to sell, there would be little investments in developing technologies to produce clean water. Clean water is still a problem that has not been resolved in most parts of the world. Due to the lack of clean water, the chain reaction includes poverty and etc. Over the last century, the global water consumption rate usage has increased eightfold and continues to do so. World Water Crisis study shows that 1 in 3 people still don't have access to clean water. A 2018 study shows that 60%, which is the majority of the world's populations, also still don't have access to clean water. If this rate continues to rise, the United Nations estimates that multiple countries will suffer consequences due to water shortages. However, that is still approximately 30 years away, meaning there's still time to find solutions and construct a system to help that can help provide these needs. As water is a basic need, the UN is determined to make clean and safe water accessible to everyone by at most 2030, in which greater scale desalination is the most feasible option.
So desalination is the process of turning saline water or brackish water into fresh water by removing the salt and other impurities of seawater to create safe drinking water. This process has two dominant technologies, thermal and membrane. So thermal desalination, arguably the most primitive technology, is the process of converting saline water into water vapor. This vapor contains very few impurities and when condensed produces drinkable water. Thermal techniques include multi-stage flash, multiple effect desalination, thermal vapor compression, and others. Of the two methods, membrane technologies are more favored and are most in use in most desalination plants. The different techniques of this technology are reverse osmosis, which is what we're going to be focusing on today, and electrodialysis and ultrafiltration, which are less relevant technologies.
So reverse osmosis is the most common desalination process used in the world as of 2020. Unlike thermal desalination, the process does not require external heat to produce clean water, so it's commonly used in developed regions with a lack of fossil fuel production, such as in European Union and the USA. We will explore the main steps that constitute the reverse osmosis process in the next slides. So raw water is first extracted from natural resources, such as the ocean. Before it is pumped through the membrane, raw water goes through a series of filters that remove large impurities from the water. This includes multimedium filter, active carbon filter, softener, and lastly, a precision filter. An effective pretreatment system can reduce the overall cost and efficiency of the reverse osmosis process, as the separation membranes need to be replaced at freer intervals. Precision filters before the separation process can save up to 25 to 30% of energy. This all helps to increase the lifespan of reverse osmosis plants. Following the pretreatment process, industrial pumps help in pressurizing water to 60 psi to make it easier to pass through the membrane. After the reverse osmosis process, a Pelton turbine is often used to depressurize the water back and recover some of the energy back to the system.
In the next stage, separation, the feed water comes into contact with the membrane, and due to the atmospheric light pressure, the feed water passes through the membrane, giving us desalinated water and the byproduct brine. Brine is the highly concentrated remnants, which is reused by being sent to other reverse osmosis units. And lastly, in stabilization, the desalinated water is once again treated to adjust the pH before being transferred to a water distribution system. Reverse osmosis has many advantages over thermal desalination. It uses the least amount of energy, making it the more economically productive technology. and it is very efficient at removing inorganic and organic matter while using the least amount of chemicals. However, there are drawbacks to this technology. For this process to be efficient, it requires a reliable energy source. Furthermore, feed water needs to be pre-treated such that there is a low bacterial contamination risk. Also, the byproduct brine is disposed of by being sent to the environment and harms the marine life. Osmosis is advancing, but when compared to other methods such as groundwater extraction, the cost for such plants is too high.
So why do we choose to talk about reverse osmosis and desalination? This provides a key solution to UN Goal 6 of clean water and sanitation, and potentially provides a sustainable source to millions for critical human needs. It can be a main source as salt water is easily accessible, and over 90%, 97% of salt water is salt water. This graph here shows how important it is to provide water as it represents the size of water scarcity. So the use of reverse osmosis in other countries. So this use is most common in the Middle East with 53.4% of the plants being in it. Saudi Arabia and Israel have the most advanced desalination facilities in the world, and with the Sorek desalination plant in Israel being the largest and having 624,000 cubic meters of fresh water per day. So the future impact of reverse osmosis, more desalination plants will be needed for the future. The demands for water increases as population increases as well. So the key to future stability is through this process as countries will meet water demands and economic stability. For example, Israel's plan is to have 1.1 billion cubic meters of fresh water per day by 2030.
So, in conclusion, global water consumption rates have risen 8 times over the past century and continue to increase as the population does. Many countries will be suffering from the effects of the water scarcity. Desalination plants have been created in many countries and have different technologies to carry the country's infrastructure. For instance, if a country has an abundance of fossil fuel, it would more likely use thermal technologies for desalination. The two main methods are reverse osmosis and multi-stage flash. Reverse osmosis is more efficient of the two and is the more economical choice, while MSF produces the high quality of drinking water and uses fewer chemicals to treat water. Large-scale desalination is the future for clean water production. It also allows these countries to meet their water demand. And with further advancements, its environmental impact will be reduced and the energy cost and consumption will decrease.
Thank you.